Brandon in Glendale, California writes to me. He says, Paul, your videos are actually teaching me things, so I'm likely to buy your book. Well, thank you, sir. And I do have 2 books. Here's a shameless plug. My memoirs, which I think most people that have read it have had a pretty good laugh. It's a fun book. It's called 99% True. And you just go to Amazon and type in Paul McGowan or 99% True, and I think you'll have a fun read with that. The other one, which I suspect Brandon is talking about, is the Audiophile's Guide, and that's available at psaudio.com, through Octave Records, or on Amazon. Okay, I continue to improve my system, and I'm starting to get depth of Soundstage. Nice. I've watched most of your videos on Soundstage and depth. My question is this. How much of the depth is due to having 2 or more speakers properly set up in the room for stereo or multi-channel and not just one mono speaker? And how much is due to other factors? Well, quite a bit is due to the stereo speaker, okay? Can you have depth with a mono speaker? You can, but I've never had a particularly great experience with that. Years ago, everything was mono, and in some really good setups that I've heard back in the 50s and the 60s, there was a reasonable approximation of depth. Nothing like stereo. Nothing at all like stereo. Stereo creates an illusion of a couple of things, depth being one of them. So we know that the stereo creates the phantom center channel, right? There is, if I'm standing here talking, I'm in the middle of everything because my voice is coming to your left and to your right ear at exactly the same time and at the same loudness. And so my ear says, oh, that person must be right in front of me, because that's the only way that happens. If we're off to the side, then one ear hears more sooner than the other ear hears later and at a lower level, right? And that's how we tell. So these speakers properly set up are tricky in that they create this phantom center channel. At the same time that it's doing that, the distance from the microphones, or however it is recorded and mixed, determines a lot about that depth. If somebody takes a microphone and you talk right into it, you know, like here, I'm talking right into my microphone, and whatever room noise that was there. So hear the difference between I'll try and keep it at the same thing. If I talk out here as opposed to talking over here, the depth, the distance that we hear, because we don't have this proximity effect of the microphone to where it's only picking up the direct sound of my voice. When it is a little bit away from the microphone, we hear the room, we hear more of the reverberation that there is, and so we sense that there is depth. We can tell that we're a little bit farther away from the microphone. And that depth is created on some records. I mean, the depth is beyond that wall. I mean, it's amazing if the speakers are set up properly. And on other recordings, it's kind of flat and two-dimensional. A lot of that has to do with the recording. But in particular, and this is one of the reasons why I am creating, by the way, a second audiophile reference disc that will be specifically on speaker setup. And by the time you see this, that it should be out. Who knows? I don't know. I'm still working on writing it. But it will show you how, through setup and careful positioning of things, that you can get amazing depth and soundstage. And one of the things that we like to do is have the sound come from beside the speakers. So the width of the soundstage on certain recordings goes wall to wall. It's here, it's behind the speaker, it goes far back. There's height, there's width, there's depth, and the speakers disappear, and nothing comes out here. That's what it sounds like. People are always amazed when they come in here and they go, that's crazy. Are those the speakers? They look at the diffusers, right? So in this new book, I'll be able to explain to you in greater depth and detail how to get all of that stuff to where it works great. And I think that is an important element to getting your system to have great depth. But you'll get there. So anyway, yes, stereo speakers give much better depth than a mono speaker. All right. Thanks, and good luck with your system. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.